So you can check it out on yours.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll just talk about the case here. You hear about this thing?
No.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
Oh man, it's going to be interesting to say the least. So it just happened last week, and we'll talk about it. It's a court case against social media.
Okay.
So yeah, a girl who's so anyway, so we'll do this live. We'll go live and we'll talk about this because it is one heck of a case against social media. Girl who is now 20 years old, she files a suit against basically every single major social media provider. Snapchat and another one go ahead and settle outside of court, which leaves Meta and YouTube against this plaintiff who claims that she was hurt, her mental health was hurt by the design of social media. And so in the past, basically social media apps have been exempt from any kind of lawsuits against them because you can't be liable for what someone says like inside of a chat section, right? But what this did is it said that the design of social media was made to be addictive, like a nonstop scroll, the sound effects, the buzzing, the actual design itself of social was meant to be addictive. And so this girl says, hey, listen, you know what? My mental health as a child, I started watching, I want to say it was like when she was 7 or 8 years old, she starts looking at social media. And she then claims that because she started watching it so young, she became depressed. She compared herself to other people. All the terrible things that happened to her was because social media apps are addictive in their design, and they're meant to be addictive for kids. And so she actually kind of got around the law, which was that, hey, you know what? Social media apps are not responsible for the content that they put onto their platforms. And she didn't go after the content. She went after the design of the actual platform itself. She wasn't saying that the person who was, I don't know, calling her fat online was the problem. She was saying that the design of Instagram, where that person put their video, was the actual problem.
Yeah.
You follow me? Like her way around that law, and she won.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm reading this right here. That was the crazy part about it. She's now 20 years old. TikTok and Snapchat, they both reached confidential settlements before the trial even begins. Happened last week. The verdict comes down. They award her, California jury award, $6 million in total, $3 million in damages, an additional $3 million in punitive damages, with Meta on the hook for 70% of that amount. So Instagram and Facebook. The jurors were told to take into account the content of the post and the videos Kaylee viewed because tech companies are shielded from legal responsibility for posted content based on Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act. Instead, verdict validated that the plaintiff's lawyers approached from a different perspective, putting the spotlight on how social media services were designed rather than the content that appeared on them. They're going to appeal. Obviously, social media is going to appeal. I hate this thing. And that's what I want to talk about, because here's what's already happening, the bigger picture. Thousands of more cases are coming against social media. She's first of nearly 2,500 different plaintiffs that are going to file suit already against social media in California, against the 4 big tech companies. 8 more, they're calling bellwether trials, are already being prepared for, with the next one scheduled this summer. Now, people are comparing this to like the big tobacco thing that happened back, and I think it was like the early 2000s, late 90s, where it was like tobacco was blamed for lung cancer because they knew it was bad, and then they still put it out anyway, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a completely different case. My thought about this is that now we're in a situation where, let's just say someone builds a fast car, right? You build a Ferrari. It's meant to go fast. Somebody drives the fast car and they wreck it. Can someone sue Ferrari because it was meant to go fast? Like, the design of the Ferrari is for speed. So if the design of the app is to be addictive and somebody uses it that way, are they therefore liable for the design that they put into something? That's a slippery slope. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at that and I think to myself, go on.
I'm with AC Mechanics now. I have 3 more to go.
All right, cool.
Yeah, just letting you know. I'm going to take lunch so I can continue.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep.
We're going live with this thing, so there we go.
Oh, I don't think we're live yet.
Well, yeah, I think we are.
No, not yet.
Sure we are. It's live right now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think it is. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, so from my standpoint, the way I look at this is you now got these social media apps that are on the hook for the way they design their product. That shouldn't have been the case in the first place. The people that should be on the hook when something like this happens are one, the parents. You have a 7-year-old who's looking at whatever content they want on Instagram, you got a problem. You got to regulate what somebody looks at when they're 7 years old. I think back to like when I was in high school, I don't think that I would have been able to handle social media. I got lucky enough to where it was just coming into a thing as I was leaving high school. But I think there's a big difference in people that grew up in the social media world like you, right? Like when I look at that, I think about all the pressures that come with it. And there's such an immense amount that people just completely disregard. Like it's just become such a part of life, even for somebody who's in their late 30s, mid 30s. We kind of forget that at one time, not too long ago, there was no social media. But I don't think that as a kid, if you would have given it to me at 11, that I would have been able to handle it. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to sit there at Armwood High School outside of Tampa. And like, I had like 3 pairs of jeans and like a couple t-shirts. And if I would have thought at that time that there was like Kim Kardashian or some guy who was 19 on some yacht over in Dubai, I don't know if I would have been able to look at myself in the same way. And I can see how something like that would screw with someone's head. I'm not like naive enough to think that like there's, how would I put it? There's no way that that could happen to somebody. I don't think we give the devil its due.
Yeah.
I mean, the negative comments that people get definitely do affect them, but the app itself, that's not the problem.
Yeah.
I don't even say the content is the problem. It's somebody who's 7 years old trying to consume adult content meant to sell you something 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Either somebody's selling themselves, they're selling a service, they're doing something on there where they're going to sell. And now you've got a 7-year-old trying to consume that content. They're going to be swayed one way or the other to feel either better or worse about themselves. And probably with social media, it's going to be worse.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of social media stuff is like a lot of fake stuff, and like 7-year-old kid doesn't know that, like what's real, what's fake.
Good
and
point.
Like that. So like,
Good point.
At this, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be, but this is all fake, and just making all this random stuff, and they're like, oh, this is how I should be, like what I should be, and then, but it's not reality. It's not what real people are like.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you're right. Because if people, you're right. If you're 7 years old and you go look at a piece of content, right, and you think that that's what a woman or a girl or whatever should look like, and you don't realize that it's AI, especially now. I mean, okay, this girl's 20 years old who filed the lawsuit. So that was 13 years ago. She's claiming she was hurt or began being hurt by social. AI wasn't a thing at that time. But what I would say then is, as we look at the case here, that there was still people that were online at that time, 13 years ago, who were playing themselves up to be something that they were not. And some 7-year-old is taking that content in and trying to think that they're going to be able to just to, oh, whatever mom says is going to be cool. And let me go back in from playing outside and my life is going to be just fine. So yeah, I'm looking back at this. It says lawsuits were focused on addictive design, algorithmic amplification, and failure to warn users. I can already see it now. We're going to log into Facebook or Instagram. There's going to be a warning that this is addictive. Like you have when you go to smoke or you go to vape and you buy a vape and it's going to be addictive. It's huge. I mean, that means that design decisions don't protect speech. I mean, to me, this is a real slippery slope to go down. It should be very simple. If you're a kid, you shouldn't be allowed, or you should have regulated, you should be regulated what you see if you're a kid. Just like you can't walk into a rated R movie. There's a reason a 7-year-old shouldn't be in a rated R movie, because what they're going to receive from that movie, what they're going to intake, their mind can't handle. And they're not ready for that, whether it be horror, whether it be sex, drugs, whatever else. You don't want to put that onto a 7-year-old kid. And in my opinion, when I look at this, I think you should just regulate people that are under the age of, let's say, 17, just like you do for a rated R movie, and just say, you know what, you can't see certain parts of this app. You can be a part of it, maybe a community within your school, but we're going to restrict what someone at this age has access to until maybe their mind is more developed or their parent gives them access, something like that at 16, if their parent wants to give them access. I just can't see any benefit right now to a 7-year-old being on Instagram, that's a parent thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Lord, she just made what, $6 million on this thing? Unbelievable. Now, a lot of people remember Section 230. That's what we were talking about earlier. Section 230 was big because people are not responsible for the content they put out they're not responsible for the actions that people take for the content that they distribute. So if I put out a piece of content and I'm talking about, I don't know, some professional sports player being a bum, right? I'm not responsible for some guy who goes to the game and tries to rush the field to tackle that guy because he's a bum. Just because I said something bad about that individual, my content doesn't make me directly responsible for other people's actions. I think that's a really good thing. This doesn't attack that. This goes after the design of the app itself, which is what they're saying is the problem. And it makes me think, like, what's actually going to happen with these apps? Do we think they're actually going to make a change? Are they actually going to do anything that's different? Or is this going to be something to where it's going to be the same old stuff? They'll take the lawsuit and they'll just say, whatever. That'll be that. I don't know. All I know is that if I was in high school and I'm looking at Kim Kardashian or I'm watching that crap, I would not feel good about myself.
Yeah.
I would have thought that I'm poor. I would have thought that I'm less than. I would have thought that, I don't know, what am I doing here in algebra right now when there's some guy sailing on some yacht in Dubai? I mean, just wouldn't have been my thing.
And I think too, a big problem is like the algorithm too. If you want to see things that like make you down, it's just going to feed you.
Good
all this
point.
stuff, too, that's going to make you feel down. It's just not going to make you.
So I guess the question would be, it'd be very interesting to be a fly on the wall in that case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you looked at it and you said, okay, is that actually good for somebody that if they're feeling depressed, then they start to see all the content that's just going to go in and reinforce that depression, right? If you start to feel happy and you're looking at content at country music concerts and you're going somewhere with your buddies that weekend, everything's going to be that way. And you could make an argument there's an addiction to the way that is set up. And I don't think that anybody argues that social media is addictive. I mean, for me, I look at things like I'm creating a dating app, as you know, right? And there is an addictive side to what the people do with swiping. There's an addiction. There's like a rush. What is it? Adrenaline? No, it's I can't remember the word. What's the word? Like you get happy. Endorphins, or what is it called? Anyways, I was going to say it's adrenaline, but there is something about that with social. Like you're sitting there and you're scrolling through reels and you're waiting for, like, even if it's just like a millisecond, the next one to pop up. What's it going to be, right? Is it going to be your buddy? Is it going to be some wedding video? Is it going to be some, crazy car crash? What's it going to be?
It's almost like a slot machine. Vegas.
Oof.
You're like gambling. You don't know what's gonna next hit. What it's gonna be.
They really do. It is a lot like that, because even if you don't realize it, I found myself going like, trying to. I guess I'm looking for something, right? Like I'm looking for something as I go through the entire thing. And I wonder if we're coming to a point where, well, I think that it's clear we're at a point now where we're out of the stage where it's social. I don't think a lot of people use like Instagram, Facebook, link, like for social activities. I'm not like DMing a friend to go, hey buddy, what are you doing tonight? You would text them. I'm not DMing through there. There's nothing social, in my opinion, about it, except for what's shared on there, which, like you said earlier, oftentimes is fake or doctored, or somebody takes a photo. Now you can run it through a damn app, and that app is going to generate something that is completely different than what somebody took with their own phone. Yeah. And so I think that it's an interesting way to go after social media is by the design of the app itself. But on the free market side, shouldn't they be allowed to create something that is as addictive as they want it to be? It's legal. There shouldn't be a lawsuit against them for that. Yeah. Now, I guess the argument from the other side was that they knew it was addictive. They marketed it to children, knowing that they would get addicted. There was internal memos that were leaked for that. And therefore, they are liable because they knew it was addictive for children. All right, but what's addictive exactly? If you, like you said, if you consume really good content and you consume things that are positive for you, what, you're addicted to positivity? If you're a Christian and you believe that you want to follow, the word of God and you want to, look for that, when I promise you, once you start watching a few of the pastors and stuff, your feed just gets full of it. I've been doing it a lot lately myself. I don't think it's the algorithm's fault that somebody is where they're at. It's the individual's parents who are not doing enough oversight into what they're watching and consuming, and the person's life falls apart. Because like you said, once you get down into the I'm addicted, I'm a victim, I'm depressed, the world is out to get me, every single piece of content that you're going to see is going to reinforce what you've already watched. And now, somebody like that, man, there's no way they're coming out of that. Imagine from like 7 to 9 years old, if what you watched was comparing yourself to other grown women. I'm assuming like whatever a 7-year-old watches on Instagram. I mean, if that person was looking at other people and comparing herself to an 18-year-old girl online, I can't imagine what that individual would have thought about herself. That would have been terrible, because I don't know how someone develops, what their life is, how much money they have, what are they doing with their day. At what point does a 7-year-old become jealous of another person? Is it 9? Is it 11? I'm sure during this case, they probably brought that up. But regardless of it, it's not going to be the person's fault. It's not the Instagram's fault. It's not Meta's fault. It's mom's fault for not looking after what their daughter was doing. Dad's fault for not being there. We're going to say that it's an addictive app. I don't know. Probably. But I think it's addictive to what you decide to watch with it. I mean, imagine if you were addicted to being healthy. Oh, no. Right?
Yeah.
Like if we got addicted to, I don't know, being better with AI or addicted to being a better person, then I guess that all we would do is just see like Ed Milet content and Jordan Peterson content every single day. We'd see that content and then we'd become a bit addicted to being better, and we'd see more of that content.
Yeah, I like video stuff. So like I watch a lot of editing videos, and I just see all these new editing styles, and I just get addicted to watching that. It's like, oh, cool, I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
This is good for me, but like I can't imagine someone having like the opposite effect, where it's just bad stuff and it's just giving you like all this negativity.
Yeah. And it can happen. It can easily happen where somebody gets so negative that every other post is going to be something about, you're down right now. You know what? It's going to be okay. Or, some breakup video. Then you just keep watching breakup video after freaking breakup video, right? Yeah. And then good luck getting out of that fucking system, And for me, when I look at this, I don't know what social media apps do now. Like if you're Instagram and you have all these people that are going to file suit against you, TikTok is the same thing. They just settled outside of court. Snapchat settled outside of court. They're going to get the same exact lawsuits that these other ones got. What do? Do you make it less addictive? You can't do that. No way you're going to make it less addictive. So what you have to do is just limit the number of people that are kids that are allowed on the app and just make it age verified. That's the only solution that they have here. Their only card to play is just make it age verification at 17 or 18. Then the problem is solved. They can go and say, okay, we settle a few lawsuits. All right, we pay out a little bit of money, fine, maybe a class action suit, something like that. They pay out a few $100 million and they move on. And then for kids, you either got to have your parents' consent or you've got to be 17 years old to be on an app, or 18 years old, whatever people decide that it is. Because if you get in before that time, then it's just going to screw with your head. Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to. 16, man, I'm 39. At 16, I would definitely not have been ready for Instagram or Snapchat or any of that stuff. I didn't even know Snapchat was still a thing till a few days ago. It's still big?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Not as big as it used to be, but.
Man. So, yeah, it used to be huge.
Oh,
yeah. See what else it says. What was the last portion of this? 2,500 people. They're comparing it to big tobacco. Definitely don't think it's like big tobacco. Yeah, it could reshape the platform design. Courts treat addictive, unsafe design as actionable conduct, distinct from protected content, moderation, or publication, the national and okay. So in 2025, 20 states enacted laws concerning social media and children. Australia enacted the world's first ban on social media for children under 16 in December, and Denmark and France are considering similar rules. Section 230 is being tested. The clever legal move here was sidestepping 230 entirely by focusing on product design rather than content, and it worked. If the approach holds an appeal, It opens significant new avenue for holding platforms accountable that didn't previously exist. Appeals are certain. Meta has already said it respectfully disagrees with the decision. It is going to appeal. In short, this potentially is a watershed moment, whether it triggers industry-wide reform or redesign or global settlement or gets reversed on appeal. It could crack open legal theory that puts 230 to the side. And Section 230, in my opinion, is the one they really skirted around. I mean, because I can't believe in this case, I can't imagine they're sitting there in court and this girl is claiming that Meta is responsible for her depression. Meta has got to be looking at that girl and saying, we didn't put that content onto our platform. Like, you watched somebody tell you that you were less than, right? And then after watching that, you felt less than about yourself. And then you kept on watching content that made you feel less than. At what point are you responsible for what you do in your own house? Well, I would say nothing if you're a 7-year-old. The mother should be the one who's responsible for the depression that this person feels, not the app itself. I like this. I think it was Ed Milet who said at one time that, and was a really profound statement, that every negative thought that you have in your mind was put there by somebody else. Think about that. That was legit. Yeah. Every negative thought that you get in your mind was put there by somebody else. And for me, I thought about that and I was like, no way, that's really true. But then eventually there was a time where you had no negative thoughts about yourself, where you didn't compare yourself to other people, where you felt like you were enough and you were worth it. But then somewhere along the way, someone comes and somehow puts something into your mind that you're not smart enough, fast enough, strong enough, good looking enough, witty enough, whatever it is, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough of something. Someone put that thought into your mind and then you start to feel that way. And you have a negative thought about yourself for the first time. That'd be if I ever go to heaven or something, and I want to ask God a question, that'd be it. When was the first negative thought I ever had about myself? And then I just get rid of that freaking moment. Like, if I could just stop, I mean, at some point somebody put something in your mind that you weren't. And since we're talking about social media, I know it was probably after I was 7. I'm thinking at 7, I was still pretty naive to what the world was going on. And they're saying that this girl's watching content at 7 years old. I have to think at that time, no way that person can go ahead and just scroll past some 18-year-old girl talking about going to some party in California and not have any effect on a 7-year-old who's just out there freely looking at whatever she wants to look at on the whim of what the algorithm shows her like she's an adult. But for me, again, I don't blame social for that. I blame a parent who wasn't there to be able to put this in place. And I think the last thing I'll say is that it's a very slippery slope that we have, is that if you're blaming the design of something for the result that comes from that design, you could find flaws in every single design that are out there. I mean, a computer screen, we're looking at some right here, right? A computer screen is designed to be bright. Okay, well, in 10 years, if I have eye problems, right, I'm not going to blame the computer screen. I know the computer screen is bright. I know it's meant to be bright. I know it's bright because the computer screen wants to make money. The designer of the computer screen wants to make money. But I don't sit there and go, oh, okay, because it's bright and I have eye problems later, that somehow they're responsible for those problems. It's an understanding that I take on. And I think the problem that they've got to be facing here is that I think everybody with common sense would say that that's true. But then you have to add in the layer of, but she's 7 years old. And then what happens to it is somebody goes, well, it's not that person's fault at that age. And then do you blame a parent because it's legal? Parent is allowed to allow them to do that. It's not like it was against the law for them to use that program. But then at the same time, you got to sit there and you've got to go, who is ultimately 7-year-old parent, the app's design, the content on the app? Somebody's got to be responsible, when in reality, I think sometimes it's just a terrible situation in life that nobody's responsible for. It's just, man, you should have looked after what your daughter was looking at online a little bit closer, and it sucks what happened. But that doesn't mean that somebody is monetarily responsible for the depression that person feels. And what a slippery slope to go down, that the design of something is what if you say that somebody designed something for a reason and then they are liable for how somebody uses that design, I can't wait to see the lawsuits are just going to flood in against Meta on this one. I think they're going to win it on appeal, though. I think they'll win this thing on appeal because I think that common sense is going to prevail. And some judge, somebody's going to look at this and go, it ain't the app's fault. All right. It's the person's fault who should have been looking after their kid and looking after what they watched and what they consumed.
Yeah.
That's got to be my thought on this one. I think that's what's going to happen. But all right, we'll end the live right there. One heck of a case. I really can't believe that we have something to where girl's depressed, sues, and she had suicidal thoughts, body dysmorphia, all the things you would think anxiety from watching content online if you're 7 years old. I mean, where was the mom during this entire thing? And now 2,500 other cases are filed against them. They're never going to change the way the apps are addictive. The apps are addictive for a reason because it makes them money. People complain about them, but still go back to them every single day. And they're not going to change. All they're going to do is just put an age restriction on this thing. Once they do that, fine, make it 17 or 18 and up. And then parents, it's your responsibility underneath that. We solve the problem and this BS lawsuit can go to the side. That's my opinion on this one. So